everybody, Barbara here from To Be in Balance and the HSP Entrepreneur Coach. I am so glad that you're here today again for this fourth episode of HSP TV. This is the first time that I'm doing the English version at the end of the day, 5:30 Amsterdam time, so that also my friends from the United States and Canada could join me and see this live broadcast. So if you are here, if you are watching, please type in your name and where you're from, and I'll give you a shout out. Hey, Andre, welcome. Glad to see you here today. I also want to see if if you can hear me okay. So if you can hear me okay, please send me a thumbs up in the chat box. And if you have any questions during this broadcast, please put them in the comment section and I will answer them when I see them. So today, the broadcast of today, these are, hi Freddy, nice to see that you're joining. The broadcast today, the questions that I'm answering today is, what is the relationship between being a highly sensitive person and the burnout? Is it true that HSPs are more sensitive to getting a burnout? After having had 2 burnouts, how do I make sure that I don't end up in another burnout again? How do I feel it in time when I'm getting overwhelmed? And when I am overwhelmed, what can I do to become relaxed again? How can I empty my bucket on time? Because I can't empty it all the way, and that makes it so that I can't handle things as well as I should. I am getting much too worked up about what people think when I live my life the way I want to. So how can I handle that better or differently? How can I handle it better or differently when people try to manipulate me when I say no? And how do I handle it when people just don't understand me? All very good questions. So let's start with the first one. What is the relationship between being a highly sensitive person? Hey, Isaac, nice to see you. What is the relationship between being a highly sensitive person and having or getting a burnout? Well, there are a few elements that come into play when you are highly sensitive. And the first one is that your sensory antenna is much more sensitive than that of a non-highly sensitive person. And that means literally that you hear more, you see more, you smell more, you taste more, and you feel more. So that means that you get a lot more information than the non-sensitive person. But it also means that all that information has to be processed. And that, of course, takes a lot of time, but also a lot of energy. So if you, for instance, work in what's so popular nowadays, an office garden, then you're in the middle of a lot of things that, hey, Beata, nice to see you today. When you're in an office garden, you're surrounded by people, you're surrounded by sounds, you're surrounded by smells, and you're surrounded by visual stimuli. And if you don't know how to protect yourself from all those things, then you can be quickly overwhelmed in your sensory input, in your sensory information. So that's one part of why we are more prone to getting a burnout. Another thing is that we are perfectionists. So we tend to want to do things really well, and we aim high, and things that we accept from other people, we often do not accept from ourselves. So we are very strict for ourselves and we have to do so much. So combine that with the sensory overload, and that makes you also more prone for burnout. And then there's also the third component in being sensitive for a burnout, and that is our pleasing. We always want to please other people, and it's very important for most HSPs to be liked by other people, and what other people think about you is very important. So that makes it so that you often do things that you might not want to do, but you do it because you don't want people to reject you, or you don't want to feel left out, and you don't want people to think badly about you. So you do things that go over your limits. So that's also a part in why we are more sensitive to getting a burnout. So that's also the answer to the second question, by the way. Is it true that HSPs are more sensitive to getting a burnout? Yes, they can be. But if you have learned how to manage your high sensitivity, and if you've learned practical tools to be able to manage your own emotions, your own energy, and your own stress level, then you don't have to be more sensitive in getting a burnout. So then we come to the third question. After having had 2 burnouts, how do I make sure that I don't end up in another burnout again? Which is a really, really good question. All these questions, by the way, are really good. So thank you, everybody that sent me these questions. Hey, Marlies, nice of you to join. So how do you make sure you don't end up in a second burnout again? Well, part of it is getting to know yourself and your own high sensitivity really, really well. Get insight into yourself, insight into what gives you stress, but also what gives you relaxation. Also insight in your mindset, in your mentality, in the way you perceive things, in the way you interact on people or on things, and the stress that it gives you. Another part is learning how to get practical tools. And this is the things that I learn, the people that come to me in either my online program or in one-to-one coaching. I teach you how to manage your stress, how to manage your emotions, how to manage your stress level. But I also teach you practical tools that you can use in your daily life, tools that help you to protect yourself and your emotions and your energy, so that you cannot be sucked, that your energy cannot be sucked away by other people. And we all know the energy vampires in our environment. Those are the people that love to talk to you, but when you're finished talking with them, you feel drained and they leave happy. And those are what I call energy vampires. But you can learn how you can protect yourself from them. But there are also practical tools that you can use when you feel that you've become overwhelmed, or when you feel that you've picked up energy of emotions of other people that are not yours, but that are bothering you. And tools that you can use to let go of those energies, to let go of those emotions, so that you quickly become your natural, effortless self again. But also tools that you can use when you feel drained, when you have no energy left, and that you can use that to get your energy back. And within 5 minutes, you can feel re-energized and happy and nice in your skin. So if you want to know more about these tools, please feel free to contact me, because it's a very, very important part of being highly sensitive to learn all these things. And another thing that I do with the clients that come to me is making your own HSP rescue kit, because it's very important that you have your own rescue kit. And these tools that I just talked about are part of your rescue kit. Also, the insight into your stressors and your relaxations are part of your toolkit. But there are more things that we will work on together. And the toolkit you use when you feel overwhelmed, or when you feel that you cannot cope anymore. Because when you feel like that, it is really, really difficult to try and think what you can do to get out of it again. Because, well, you're just too tired, or you're just too overwhelmed, or you're just too overstimulated. And the toolkit, you only have to, you grab it, and you can look at what things you can do to quickly feel like yourself again. So you don't have to come up with it at that moment, but you can just look at the list of the possible options, and there will always be an option on that list that you think, yes, that's the one. That's what I'm going to do right now. So if you want to avoid a burnout, it's getting to know yourself, getting to know your high sensitive user manual, as I call it, but also get to know these types of practical tools and make your rescue kit. Very important. The next question is, how do I feel it in time when I'm getting overwhelmed? And when I am overwhelmed, how can I become relaxed again? Also an excellent question. Thank you for asking it. Well, feeling in time when you're getting overwhelmed has to do with being in connection with your body, being in connection with yourself, because you need to feel the signals that your body is giving you that tell you that you need to take action. Every time when we become overstimulated, overwhelmed, or just tired, our body is giving us signals. Becoming tired is one of those signals, but also signals like a tensed neck, tensed shoulders, maybe a lump in your throat, or a pressure on your chest, or a nauseous feeling in the pit of your stomach, or headaches. Those are all signs of your body with which your body is trying to tell you that you're doing too much and that you need to take action to avoid becoming overstimulated. So in order to be connected with your body, your breath is very important. So the way that you breathe, but also the place from which you breathe is very important. And also being grounded. I've made several videos about these two topics. You can find them on my YouTube channel. So if you are not familiar with these things, or if you want to know how to do a proper breath or a proper grounding, please make sure that you go to my YouTube channel and that you subscribe to it and that you watch those videos in order to learn how to do that in your life. And how do you become relaxed again? Well, that's also the answer to that part. You can ground yourself again, which will make you feel more relaxed. You can use some of the tools in your rescue kit to make you more relaxed, but you can also go for a walk, for instance. That's one of the things that works for me the best. Just go into nature, go into the woods and soak up the energy of the nature and just unwind. But make sure that in your rescue kit, you make a chart in which you map which things give you your relaxation. And those are the things that you do whenever you feel overwhelmed. The next question is, how can I empty my bucket on time? Because I can't empty it all the way, and that makes it so that I cannot handle things as well as I should be able to handle them. Well, that's basically the same principle. Feeling your bucket, feeling the level in your bucket also has to do with how well you are in tune with your body. So make sure that you get to know your body really well, that you know how it feels when you feel relaxed, and that you know what signs your body is giving and how serious those signs are. And because your body gives off different types of signals, and some are more serious than the other. And you will also start to notice when you start paying attention that it starts off with a couple of basic signals. And if you ignore them, then other signals will come. And if you ignore them, then more severe signals will come. And it will keep happening until you take action on those signals. So that's also a very important part in emptying your bucket, using the rescue kit to empty your bucket. But the most natural way to empty your bucket, it's what we do when we sleep. And you can imagine if your sensory antenna is more sensitive than that of the standard person, and you get more sensory information and you have more info to process. We process that information when we sleep. So for highly sensitive people especially, it's so very important to not only get enough sleep, but also to make sure that you get a deep sleep. So it's not uncommon for a highly sensitive person to sleep at least 8 or 9 hours at night. And at the end of your sleep, your bucket will be empty. But if you do not sleep enough, if your sleep is too short, or if the quality of your sleep is not good enough, then your bucket does not get emptied during the night. And a little bit of water, or in this case emotions and energies, will remain in your bucket. So you start with already a filled bucket, and you can imagine that during the day when other things come in, other sensory informations, that your bucket more quickly fills itself, and that you are also more in danger of overflowing. And meditation, for instance, is a very good one to empty your bucket in between. I also advise most of the people to make sure that they go for a lunch walk, especially when you're in employment, to just leave your surroundings, go somewhere else, and use some of the tools that I can teach you during your walk to empty your bucket again, so that for the afternoon, at least your bucket will be less full, or preferably empty again. And this will really help you also with avoiding your burnout. The next question is, I'm getting much too worked up about what people think when I live my life the way I want to. And how can I handle that better or differently? Well, this is something that has to do with our pleasing behavior. We want people to like us. We want people to want to spend time with us. And we think it's very important that other people think highly of us. And when people are not in agreement with how you want to live your life, it can feel like some sort of personal attack, but also like a disapproval. It can feel like people don't accept you, and that doesn't feel good. That emotion doesn't feel good. But what we have to realize is that as long as you are happy with the way that you're living your life, to be blunt, who cares what other people think? The most important people should be you. You should be happy with how you are living your life. You should feel completely at ease with how you feel your life. You should be proud of how you live your life. And if other people don't agree, or if other people don't like how you are living your life, well, that's mainly their problem. It sounds hard when I say it like this, but it's true. And it says so much more about who they are and how they view you, or how they are in their own energy, than it says about you. So of course, there's a nuanciation in that part. If everybody keeps telling you that you're a horrible person, then maybe somewhere along the way you should start to learn and listen to it. But as an HSP, we are not narcissistic. We are not only thinking about ourselves, we are mostly thinking about others. So if we are choosing ourselves, if we are guarding our boundaries, and if we are stating our limits, then that is something that's already costing us a lot of energy. And if you criticize that part, then we stop doing that again because we feel insecure. And we should remain secure in our own truth, live our own truth, and do what we feel that suits us, what's in our best interests. And we can try and talk to people about it, especially if we think they are important in our lives, like family members or close friends. But the most important thing is that you live the life that you feel that is right for you, and you should not feel guilty about it, and you do not have to defend your choices to other people. How can I handle it better or differently when people try to manipulate me when I say no? Well, that's a little bit the same as my last answer. For highly sensitive people, it's already very difficult to say no, because we tend to want to please other people, and saying no is usually not pleasing other people. So if you have a highly sensitive person in your environment, please, if they say no, don't attack them, but say, I'm proud of you for saying no. Stimulate them in saying no, and do not try to manipulate them, because it's already hard to say no. And you, as a highly sensitive person, you need to keep in mind that when you say no to other people, you are saying yes to yourself. And that is so very important, that you choose yourself. So if you know that you're coming from a place of love, self-love, and positive energy, you don't have to defend yourself when people try to manipulate you, and you don't even have to give it any attention. If you have said to somebody, no, Not right now. I cannot deal with it right now. I don't have the time. I don't have the energy. So no, not right now. You can just ignore them when they try to manipulate you. And I know that is not easy. I know. And you say it very easily. And in your practice, in daily life, it's not easy to do, but try to do it as much as possible, because you should be proud that you're living your truth, and you should be proud that you are saying no when you feel it's not in your best interest. So if people try to manipulate you out of it and you cannot handle it really well, then just ignore them or tell them, I don't like what you're doing. I don't like that you give me the feeling that I'm being manipulated. Could you please stop? There's nothing wrong with those types of sentences. How do I handle it when people just don't understand? Well, you should ask yourself the question, why do you want to handle it? Should everybody really understand? I don't understand everybody as well. And to be really honest, I don't want to understand everybody. Sometimes it's just enough that you acknowledge that that is the way it has to be for someone. Like, for instance, with a burnout. If you have not had a burnout before, it is impossible to understand what it is to have a burnout. It's impossible to understand what you're going through and how it feels. So don't try to understand it. Don't try to make your surroundings, your people, the people in your environments understand your burnout. Just let them give you the respect that you deserve in understanding that you have one. Even if they don't understand it, just understand that it's very real for the person having it, and just accept that it is that way, even though you might not understand it. You don't always have to understand everything. Also with high sensitivity, if you're not highly sensitive, a non-highly sensitive person has a lot of trouble understanding the highly sensitive person, but you don't have to understand each other. You just have to accept that you're different. And then just talk about those differences and try to find a middle ground. That's basically it. You don't have to understand everything, but just accept the other for the person that they are. I hope you liked this broadcast. This was my last question to answer. If you did, please like it, comment it, and share it. Awesome. Thank you. Also, please keep sending me your questions. Either come and ask them live in the episode, or email them to me at info@tobeimbalance.com or info@hspentrepreneur.coach.com. And I can use your questions in another broadcast just like this one, and I will answer all of your questions. No question is stupid. Every question is valuable, and you will not only help yourself, but also everybody that's watching these broadcasts. So thank you again for your attention. Thank you for your time. Don't forget to like, comment, and share. And I'll see you again next Thursday, 5:30 Amsterdam time. Bye, everybody.